Hello, good evening, welcome back. And I'm just enjoying a mug of tea before I go to bed. I purloined this mug a few years ago from the church hall kitchen of St Peter's Tandridge, my former parish. Forgive me, friends, back at St Peter's. I always rather liked this slightly psychedelic, groovy 1970s church mug, and it found its way into my cupboard over the years, and I'm not sure I ever confessed it. I certainly didn't return it, as you can see, but uh, I've been drinking tea a little bit later in the evening these days. Uh, I don't know about you. I've always felt that there were certain hours of the day when tea and coffee were appropriate. And to my mind, although it's a source of some discussion in the household, these things are quite religiously to be adhered to. That tea begins the day, followed by coffee from, let's say, 9 o'clock, half eight, nine. And then it's coffee all the way through until half two, three. Three is the hinge point, and after that, coffee is unacceptable, apart from maybe at the end of a dinner party. But coffee is put back in the cupboard from 3 o'clock. Tea all the way there until bedtime, and increasingly now, in emulation of my 17-year-old daughter revising for her A levels, who drinks tea late into the night while she's working, and I also enjoy a mug later on as well. Not sure why I embarked upon that. It's not especially instructive, but it is good for your soul. Anyway, not much to report, as you can tell, but just checking in. And it was Easter 3, third Sunday of Easter on this weekend. And given recent discussions on going to ground around earthly faith, I was struck by the gospel reading on Sunday and wanted just to share with you its powerful sense that the resurrection of Christ, as it's related and described in the Gospels, is emphatically physical. And of course, that doesn't mean it's not also spiritual, because one of the basic assumptions of these short films that I've been doing for all these years now is that the spiritual and the physical are bound together, and that all things are spiritual, basically. But the resurrection is emphatically physical. Whether or not you believe it was true or not, or it happened or not, we'll leave on one side for now. But in terms of how it is presented by the scriptures, by the Bible, it is undeniably and expressly appears to be demonstrated as physical. And the passage in Luke 24 that was read on Sunday in churches across the country is as I say, displays that very clearly. And what struck me, I just wanted to share with you the phrase that struck me that had never really done so before in the King James Version. So, and the King James, the Authorized Version, often brings out, just in terms of the archaism of its language, brings out a new richness of meaning that that has become reduced or changed over time. And so I'm just going to read to you a little bit of this. It's the resurrection appearance of Jesus after the Emmaus Road, Luke 24. And the Lord appears to the disciples. And as they thus spake, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them and saith unto them, Peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted, supposing that they had seen a spirit. Interesting, in the modern translations it says seen a ghost. But it's interesting given what we just say about spiritual and physical. They thought they'd seen a spirit, but they hadn't seen a spirit. They'd seen a material thing. It doesn't say that, but that's the inference. Suppose that they had seen a spirit. And he said to them, Why are ye troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold, my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see. That's the phrase. Handle me. In the modern translations, it's just touch me, which is a very sort of, it's a much less, there's much less sort of sensuality and physicality than in the phrase handle me. Take hold of me, handle me and see. For a spirit hath not flesh and bones, as ye see I have, or ye see me have. And when he had thus spoken, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they yet believed, not for joy, and wondered, he said unto them, Have ye here any meat? I love that. Have ye here any meat? It's as if he's hungry. Maybe he was. And they gave him a piece of broiled fish and of an honeycomb. The honeycomb seems to be lost in the translation in the modern versions, but and they gave him a piece of broiled fish and of an honeycomb, which is just delightful. It's almost as if he is saying, look, I wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, elsewhere, in some of the other resurrection appearances, Jesus appears in a locked room, and it's almost as if he's passed through the walls like a phantasm, like a wraith. Here in Luke, he's demonstrating to them his physicality, kind of whether he's hungry or not. He's kind of saying, watch this. But it's this phrase, handle me. And I love that. It's just such an incarnational, enfleshed thing that in the moment of kind of that believers would see as the transformation of Jesus after death is not an evacuation from the physical, but the resurrected is a new kind of physical, and we are invited to handle God in person. And it was powerful on Sunday then to take the sacrament, then to come to communion and take a physical thing and take it into oneself. The Christian faith is one that sees the infusion of physical things, the transformation of physical things with the life of God. And so it's important to establish that, even if one doesn't necessarily know whether it's true or believe it or not. I think it's important to emphasize that in the scriptural accounts of resurrection, the risen Jesus is no mere spirit. There we are. That's it. That's my thought for this evening. And tea's getting cold, so I shall depart at this point. God bless you as you go to ground.